What is Konami's next move? That is today's question, and I want to explore what's going on. It is 2025, and Konami has been on a complete tear of dropping some very cool things in recent history. And I'm so excited to discuss what's coming in the near future. Of course, they have dropped probably one of the greatest remakes with Silent Hill recently. And then now they're about to release one of the greatest games of all time, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That's a remake as well. So they're kind of going back to their roots and they're respecting the community's love for the franchise. And instead of just trying to make a new edition that might not feel as great, they decided to respect their previous games. Now, they do have a lot of other things that I actually got to give them credit for that they continue to put out. And you got to respect things like Drive at All Costs, a fun indie game. And then they have a bunch of other things, Yu-Gi-Oh! And so much more they have. And it's definitely amazing to see them continue their run with these smaller titles. And then they still have things in the bag from Castlevania, Contra that they can do in the future as well. But we want to stick to Metal Gear, of course, but I did want to kind of give them their flowers in the moment and discuss, the fact that they have provided some very cool things in recent years, and they're continuing to be on that tear. They have this show called Metal Gear Hotline, where they take community feedback. They even showcase comments and surveys from the community in that. And the producers of the Metal Gear games in recent times have also acknowledged the community and it been very canny. They did not hold back. So I have to just applaud for their behavior. And of course, right now we have Silent Hill F and Metal Gear Solid Delta both releasing this year with other games in the back burner. Now, the rest of this video will be some speculation of what could come in the near future. I don't want you guys to get overhyped. By the way, I do have giveaways for the channel. If you comment, you're going to get a copy of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. You have a chance to win. I'll just select random people and then notify you. But I want to kind of take a moment to just explore what is coming. All right. The developer, and I've already covered what he said, but basically in short, he said that they're reintroducing the series to new players and giving returning players a chance to play on modern consoles. This is a pretty straightforward thing, and that's why they chose Snake Eater, because they said it's the best entry in the game. And this is very true. If someone ever asked me what game to play in the Metal Gear Solid series, I would say Snake Eater, even though the mechanics are older. It is a little more modern than most of the Metal Gear games. When you play Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 2, the mechanics feel a little bit older, and it's not something people are used to. Over the top style camera view. So I would throw part 3 in there, because the story is a standalone story about the beginning of Big Boss and introducing a lot of the key characters that basically influence the whole series. You have Ocelot, who's the king of kings, in my opinion, my favorite character of all time. You have the boss, who basically is the whole reason anything in the whole universe happens. She's the motivation, and I don't want to spoil it for new players, but she's very important. And then you have other cool characters that play a big role, like Eva. Spoiler alert, she's the mom, Big Mama, let's just say. And then, of course, Big Boss, the guy who gave us an amazing run of his games, plus he gave us his son, Solid Snake, who also has the most games in the series, basically. So with all that in mind, you think about what has they decided was the correct thing. As of now, I can tell you that because I was wondering like what could be the best remake, and we argue about it all the time. But honestly speaking, I now see how good this game is looking. I'm excited for it in every way. I'm blown away by the visuals, just feeling like, wow, this is real. Every time I see the game's gameplay, I just get inspired. So I do expect this to be revolutionary for many people. And so I bring all that up to start talking about what is next. Right? We got Volume 1, which was the Master Collection for Metal Gear, and 5 of the 9 chronological story games were implemented in that. Okay? So Metal Gear 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 2, and Part 3 were all included in Volume 1, plus some extra non-canon games as well. And so I believe if they're going to follow tradition and they really want to provide the players with something special, they will most likely, after releasing Delta, of course, announce that they're going to be working on Volume 2, which I think they're secretly working on it. And again, allegedly is the word I want to use, or speculation, that Volume 2 is already in the works. And the developer and producer said that he wants to make sure Volume 1 was good, and they've been fixing that, and they did everything they can to make it as good as possible. And it's had a lot of hiccups, and that's what he addressed. He said, I don't want to just start working on Volume 2 without fixing Part 1. And so I respect his being honest and open, like I told you guys. And now the question is, okay, you did that. It looks better. It plays better. It's a little smoother. We're ready for Volume 2, aren't we? Leave it in the comments if you're ready for Volume 2. Put Volume 2 in the comments. But that being said, I'm not going to be pretending like I don't know that they're possibly making, again, allegedly, making a new Metal Gear for the series. And I would not be opposed to such a thing. Been a big fan of Metal Gear, so of course I'm kind of biased for that. But hey, you can't hate on my biasness of wanting my favorite series to come back. But with all that said, I think that them making a new game at this time while they're at their peak can be a dangerous tone. What if they say, you know what, we're going to keep this in the burner for another 5 years. We're going to drop Volume 2. And then after we drop Volume 2 and drop this Fox Hunt mode, which is a multiplayer that they explain they want to bring back the multiplayer within Snake Eater. And then they could possibly say, okay, what else does the community want from us that's new? Because the multiplayer is a new style. It's not going to be the original type of MGO, which I am still on the fence because I do want the original MGO. I'm never going to say I don't. But I will respectfully try this out and enjoy myself along the ride. So now the question that I have for everybody that's been watching is, what if they did make a new game? And what would that look like? And what type of game would it be? Where do you want them to go? Okay, that's the question. Because if they did go that route, it could be something special. I'm going to have some breakdowns on that for you guys, but I did want to kind of touch on one more topic, which is, sure, why not just make a remake? Konami's next move for Metal Gear could possibly be a remake. And what remake would that be? We've had a lot of conversations in the channel, and I'm going to be doing more videos exploring. But what I can say that I personally have enjoyed playing the retro games, but I am not a fan, and I know y'all might not agree with me, but I'm done with pixelated games. I'm done with, old mechanical games. Please upgrade all of them. That's how I personally feel. Cool, it's great to have the nostalgia of the old ones, but if I can have a 4K 120 FPS, smooth looking graphics for a game. I want it. I'm not paying $2 million, 200 million for the production. I'm paying 60, $70. I'll pay more than that for every Metal Gear game. So give me Metal Gear 1 and 2, and then Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 remake as well. I know the argument's going to be part 4 has never gotten put on modern consoles. Totally reasonable if you feel like they should just remake that so that we can have access. But that is somewhat modern. I can play that on my PlayStation 3 right now and enjoy myself. So if they just put it on volume 2, we won't have a reason to worry too much because every platform will have it. But that's kind of why I feel part 4 doesn't need a remake specifically, as long as they put them on all the platforms. Now, I don't know the design issues for that, but that's what I would want. And then I want to get into what's even better. Like I said, overall, the main new exploration topic about what's next. Okay, the new game and what it could be. And before we go here, I want to talk about what I feel is amazing. We have a foundation of 30 plus years in the Metal Gear Solid series. Okay, and we know what the imprint of the game should have, at least in a development side. When it comes to gameplay mechanics and features, you can take every great feature from the series and implement it all into one new game that can be special. And I put a video together talking about that. So go check it out. It should be popping up now. See you there.